Okay, so we are on the absolute brink of a population explosion. But we're not talking about people. We're talking about autonomous AI agents. Millions of them, and they are about to come online. The problem? They're showing up without passports, without IDs, without any real way to prove who or what they actually are. So let's dive into this, the agentic identity crisis. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie plot. The CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, he says we're looking at 50 million of these agents in the near term. He calls it a country of geniuses in a data center. I mean, that's an incredible thought, a massive leap in what's possible. But it also brings up a really urgent, really fundamental question.
Exactly. Who vouches for them? You know, when an AI agent makes a huge financial transaction, or gives out medical advice, or gets access to your company's most sensitive data, who is the legally accountable person or company behind it? Right now, there's no good answer to that question.
Now, here's the really scary part. The current ideas for how to solve this are, well, they're built on a dangerously flawed idea. They create what the source material here calls a cryptographic illusion of trust.
And this image just illustrates the problem perfectly. We've got all these fancy, sophisticated protocols that can issue a cryptographically valid token, but it's all sitting on this crumbling foundation. Because none of them actually answer the most important question. Is the organization that launched this agent even real? Is it legitimate? The result is what you see here. Trust theater. It looks secure, but it's really just a performance.
So let's break this down. On the one hand, you have the illusion. This is what automated services do. They run a quick, automated check that proves you control a domain name for like a second. It's a fleeting, technical check. But on the other hand, you have the reality. Organizational legitimacy. This is a tough, human-led process that verifies the actual legal entity. One is a magic trick, the other is real, accountable trust.
And the consequences of falling for this illusion? They're severe. You've got A2A contagion risk. That's where malicious agents with these easy-to-get valid certificates can spread like a virus through entire networks. And when things go wrong, the audit trail leads to a dead end. Just some disposable domain name, not a real company you can hold accountable. It's called the Let's Encrypt syndrome. When trust signals are so easy for anyone to get, they become completely meaningless.
So if that's the wrong path, what's the right one? Well, the good news is we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. A proven blueprint for this kind of high-trust digital identity, it already exists.
Just look at this. The .bank top-level domain. It's had 0 DNS abuse cases since it launched back in 2015. 0! How is that even possible? It's because they require every single person who applies to go through a strict, rigorous verification process before they can get a domain. The same model is used for .pharmacy and .cpa. It works.
And here's the secret sauce behind that success. For .bank, you have to go through a 6-layer Know Your Business check. For .pharmacy, a real governing body, the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy, verifies your license. For .cpa, the American Institute of CPAs verifies your credentials. The key takeaway here is that a trusted, human-in-the-loop organization vets every single participant, no exceptions. So the idea is, what if we take this proven blueprint and apply it directly to AI? We can create what's basically a digital passport system for agents, one that ensures every single participant in this new economy is known, vetted, and accountable. And here is what that architecture could look like. You create a brand new restricted top-level domain, something like .agent or .id. Think of it like a high-security gated community for AI. The chaos of unverified agents is stopped at the front gate. Only those who pass a strict Know Your Agent verification process are ever allowed inside.
Now, 2 key players make this whole thing possible. First, you've got Inseparable. Think of them as the vault door. They're the expert gatekeepers who have already done this for .bank and .cpa. They do the hardcore background checks. Then you have Identity Digital, the V8 engine. They run the massive, high-performance registry backend that can handle the insane scale of this new economy. It's the perfect team-up, rock-solid security, and industrial-strength infrastructure.
And the verification process itself is incredibly thorough. It starts with Know Your Agent, checking the software itself. Then Know Your User, which verifies the actual human and the company behind the agent. And finally, Know Your Purpose, which defines exactly what that agent is and is not allowed to do. Each layer builds on the last to create this unbreakable chain of accountability. Now, this isn't just some abstract idea for the distant future. There is an urgent, real-time race happening right now to set these foundational rules for AI identity at the very root of the internet itself.
Just look at these dates. The window to get this right is incredibly short. The deadline for public comments to NIST, that's the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, is April of 2026. Just a few weeks after that, ICANN, the organization that basically governs the Internet's address book, opens its application window for the first time since 2012, and that window slams shut in August. The entire foundational architecture for the agent economy is going to be decided in this very narrow window.
So how do you actually fund this massive, secure infrastructure and, at the same time, make AI safer for everyone? Well, the plan is surprisingly simple and elegant, and it all starts with this one number. So here's the idea, a small $10 a year fee per agent. It's basically nothing for a legitimate company, but it creates security friction. It makes it way too expensive for bad actors to try and register millions of malicious bots. Now, at the scale we're talking about, 50 million agents, that generates $500 million every single year. And the proposal is to legally commit half of that revenue to a global fund for AI safety. So the very system that secures AI is also funding its responsible development.
And that brings us right to the final, critical question. This country of geniuses is coming, whether we're ready or not. And we have a choice to make right now. Are we going to build their digital world on a proven foundation of verified, accountable trust? Or are we going to settle for the convenience of a cryptographic illusion and just hope for the best?